Elliot was sitting in front of a camera that was recording him. Aaron was sitting by the camera with James. He was extremely restless, and James was annoying him to no end. James knew the limits, how he could bend things, and when he could not. Earlier, he had been quick to arrest Elliot, but now he wanted to record whatever Elliot had to say, then decide whether to go to Gray or not. Aaron tried to calm himself as Elliot began to speak. Gray is my closest friend. He knows everything about me, and I trust him completely. But he is not right in the head. He always liked blood. And hamsters. God, the things he used to do with them. I knew he was cruel, but he was always extra nice to me. It was tolerable, since he never hurt humans. But then he gave me teeth as a gift. He was super proud. I don't know why he thought I would love it, but I hated it. Recently, he stopped giving me those as gifts. Aaron interrupted. How long has it been? When did he give you teeth last time? About 2 months, I think. That's exactly how long Starkiller has been active. He probably had to find a way to satisfy his evil urges, and these people were the way. James, I'm telling you, Grey Holloway is our guy. James rubbed his temples and stood up. I told you I need to record him, otherwise he could be getting his other victim while we waste our time here. Aaron yelled. No, you know what? I'm a detective. I will go myself. By law, you don't have any right to stop me. Aaron didn't wait for James' reply and just rushed out, and soon was in his police car. Before he could leave, James rushed and sat in the passenger seat. Even though he was against what Aaron was doing, he wasn't going to let his friend go into harm's way alone. They didn't speak to each other. Elliot had already given them Gray's address. They didn't waste any more time, and Aaron started to drive towards Gray's house. Gray's house was far from the main area of town and was an old building. It had definitely seen better times. Aaron didn't listen to James at all this time and just rushed towards it. The house was old but big. He climbed the solid gate and jumped into the garden. James reluctantly followed Aaron. They were shocked to see what they found. There was no grass, but there were bones on the ground. It looked like a Halloween setup, but without the charm of plastic and fake decorations. It was all real. Aaron felt sick, but he tried to control his reflexes. He glared at James. You were in the police, and this happened under your nose? He whispered angrily. Shut up. We aren't allowed to go to each and every house to check if something nasty is going on there or not. James whispered back. They both decided it wasn't the right time to argue and headed towards the building of the house. The more they walked, the more gruesome the scenes became. Aaron had put on a mask to keep himself from vomiting. James was used to such things, so he did not react much. The door was open. They entered and found the lights on. They saw ropes, cages, and knives on the floor in a messy pattern. They kept walking until they entered the living room. A man was watching a show on the big screen. He looked slightly tired, and by his looks, he seemed to be in his mid-30s. There were 2 more people on the floor. They were tied and were wiggling to get free, and the man was paying no attention to it. James quickly got his gun out and pointed it towards the man and yelled, Don't move, or I will shoot you. Evan rushed to the tied people and untied them. They both cowered in the corner, probably still shaken from everything. The man stared at Evan and then smiled. He hadn't moved from his place at all and looked very calm for everything that had been happening. You actually figured it out. No one has been able to even suspect me, and here you are. With your friend and a gun. The man spoke and laughed. James and Aaron felt uncomfortable with how comfortable he was. Aaron finally asked him the question that had been bugging him for so long. Why did you reach me? I wasn't even in the police. I wanted to see you wearing that detective badge. What? The man rolled his eyes. You were the only new face who looked promising enough. I wanted to have one last chase before I go to prison. The police were chasing you already, Bray. Oh, you learned my name too? You are smart. Gray looked at James. I kept track of his work. He figured me out on the first day of his official workday. And you, who had so much anger for me because of my brutality, couldn't even find me in 18 years. Fascinating. You see it clearly too, don't you? His instincts are always right. He found me without any proof, mostly just curious and instinct. Gray finally stood up and grabbed a knife. Aaron tensed and James yelled, "Put it down!" Gray ignored him and continued to speak. You are afraid that he will become evil and choose the wrong path. You think of him as your own blood, maybe like a son or a little brother. Why did you kidnap people from neighboring towns? James asked. Because I was forgetting the color of blood and the face of agony in the victim's face. I did not want to kill and show until I found someone who could catch me. And then I found Aaron. You know the rest. Now excuse me, before going to prison, I want to see blood again. Gray lunged at the two people cowering in the corner, but before he could do anything, Aaron, who was closer, kicked his hand, making the knife clatter to the floor. He grabbed Aaron, threw him onto the floor, and kept Gray's hands behind his back. Gray chuckled. Oh, I told you, he's great, but I'm always gonna hate him for taking away my last pleasure. They both took him to the police station, and the forensics team went to the house right away to find all the bones and evidence. They came to know that all the people who disappeared were there, but not alive anymore. All the people from the neighboring towns came to collect whatever remained of their loved ones. The two people who were found alive were kept hidden from public to give them space and peace from everything that happened to them. Aaron and James tried to get them the best therapist. It took a while, but they were able to get back to their normal life, probably because they were able to think of it all as a nightmare that ended without hurting them physically. Gray was quickly sent to the most harsh prison. He didn't deny a single thing he was accused of, and even if he did, there was enough evidence to prove him wrong now. The town became peaceful again. The fear was lifted. Everything was calm. But the problem with the world is that it's filled with humans, the very source of all evil, an always inclined to evil creature. Thus, the peace always remains temporary.